What's up? Shouts out to my boy AG. I saw AGZ today. He came outside. AGZ and Danielle. They came outside. That's what's up. Now, what the heck is going on up here? Is this road even open? All this doggone construction. Anyhow. Hey, Jeezy. He got me thinking of doing just a random fantasy football. I haven't played fantasy football in God knows how long. I don't even remember how to set the league up how I used to. No, when Slaughterhouse got together, okay, when Slaughterhouse got together, it's a whole different situation. When Slaughterhouse got together, there's a lot of pieces that wasn't being told in the process. When they decided that Slaughterhouse is going to get signed and picked up by Shady Records and Interscope, when Shady Records and Interscope was going to be there and doing the project, and they were going to be working with him, and it's going to be real big for them, they had a 3-album deal. Okay? And Royce was going to be added to the group of Slaughterhouse. It was Crooked I, Joe, and Joell Ortiz. They were gonna get Yellow Wolf to make some appearances, somehow some features on the album, and then Royce was gonna be added to Slaughterhouse. And it's like Joe pointed out some very key features in that story that he told, and you can see now why he felt a certain way. You understand what I'm saying? You can see now why Joe felt a certain way and why he said the things he said. When Joe Budden said the things that he said on the radio show, it explained a lot when he gave the critique of Eminem's album and why he went in so hard on the song. All the time he was being respectful. It was all a mask because he was really pissed off, and today it was like taking a dump, and he was able to get all of it off his chest. And he felt Eminem mentioning him and the domestic violence thing, as small as it was just enough for Joe to unleash and let everything off his chest. And when he did that, he kind of glanced over some of the things that was happening in Slaughterhouse. Now, here's the thing that they could have done. The way Slaughterhouse worked, they only had 3 albums to do. So you could have got paid, did your 3 albums, and been done. Y'all could have knocked out 3 albums and been completed. But that was beside the point. And I understand Joe's plight. And that's what people didn't understand. When Joe's breaking it down, I understand what Crooked I is saying, and I understand what he's saying, but people forget Joell Ortiz was one of the main people to say, I hear everybody, because there was things going on that we all were a little confused about. It wasn't a lot of clarity on a lot of things, but we're used to it being in the record business, you know, that things aren't, but we know that we got the main guy, we got Eminem with us. All we gotta do is ride this wave and go forward. Now, when they did the cypher, that was supposed to boost all the energy towards the project being released, and it didn't happen that way. The launch, nothing went the way it was supposed to, and the reasons why was the lack of communication between Eminem and the rest of the group. And it was like M was part of Slaughterhouse only in name and theory. Other than that, he wasn't really around. And then they got to send the music off, and then the music comes back completely different than how they recorded it. And I understand how that could frustrate somebody. So when Tiana Taylor, when he said that, and for somebody like Joe, with his type of nature and compulsiveness, he's the type of person that mentally shuts down. Joe Budden is the type that would just shut down completely. He's not somebody who could deal with all these changes. He's somebody that's temperamental. He's, you know, he's on meds most of the times. He deals with depression. This is a habit of Joe. Joe doesn't know how to communicate things to people that he needed to. He felt me making this song was communicating to the rest of the group, you know, because they was like, look, if we knew Joe was feeling this way, like, that's what Cricket, I was like, I wouldn't have been going to Detroit putting in all this work, thinking that, okay, the guy's gonna get on the song and everything gonna be all right, we're gonna work everything out then. That's not happening. And while everybody's just talking, nothing's happening. So while everybody's talking, nothing's happening. So the people that's at Shady Records that's running everything now, and Eminem, Eminem had a project coming out with Royce called Bad Meets Evil. All the promotion for Bad Meets Evil was being conducted, was being filmed, was being put on a pedestal, was put on top of a mountaintop, whatever you want to call it. It was put on the top of a pedestal. Slaughterhouse, Joe Budden was put on the back burner. I told people this and y'all thought I was dissing when I said no. They did Bad Meets Evil and it didn't work. They dropped that and they put all their little thing in the building Royce and Eminem's album. Why would you come out with Bad Meets Evil? Because the people was like, oh man, will we ever get that album? Next thing you know, they're like, we gotta secretly make this secret album called Bad Meets Evil. Now, isn't that a distraction? Royce is a part of Slaughterhouse. Now you and Eminem come with the surprise album Bad Meets Evil. Where does that leave the Slaughterhouse project? You see what I'm saying? So if I'm them, I'm feeling a certain way. So I understood everything that Joe is saying. The only thing Joe Budden didn't do was communicate. So even when he left and they were still doing the Slaughterhouse without Joe, and just making it like they still Slaughterhouse, like they never even reported the fact that Joe was out. It was like, oh, well, Joe got kicked out the group. You know, somebody kind of leaked that to the press that Joe's kind of been kicked out the group. And they never confirmed it. Nobody would ever confirm Joe's out or is Joe in. But Joe started to shut down like he always does. Joe is known for shutting down. If something's not going a right way, he shut it down. That's why everybody said, well, it's a matter of time before Joe quits this. It's going to be a matter of time before Joe quits this. That's why the everyday struggle, many people who know Joe Budden knows if things are not going right, Joe Budden will shut everything down and shut himself down. So even while he was with Slaughterhouse, he was shut down. But he glosses over the main thing that cut him like a knife. And I'm going to tell you what it was. They cut his verse off and they added Yellow Wolf to a song. And this was the thing that ticked him off. He is one of the existing founding members of Slaughterhouse. It was Joe Budden, Joell Ortiz, and Crooked I. Those three. So, when they started cutting bars, it's when you got 5 people basically on a record. Eminem, Royce, Crooked I, Joell. That's 5 people on a record on one song. So on some songs there are 3 people. Some songs there were 5. So there's one song that had Eminem and Yellow Wolf, and Joe Budden had recorded verses for the song and his verse was cut off. Then there's another song, a couple more songs where Joe Budden's verse was cut. And it was like, it was a burn. Because now you're telling Joe Budden he's not good enough to be on the song. They records. Both projects that was Slaughterhouse projects on Shady Records was trash. Somebody's like, no, the first one, no, they were trash. The beats were trash. Everything about it was basically trash. The lyrics, yeah, but like Joe Budden said, he put it in perspective. I've been saying this from the beginning. I'm like, you might as well should have kept D12. You should have kept D12. I've said that from the jump. Should have kept D12, because Slaughterhouse, and you coming up with Slaughterhouse, this doesn't make any sense. Should have kept. And that's what he said. He said, look, we're not white boys. We don't know how to make D12. We don't make D12 songs. D12 fits the type of cadence that Eminem works with. They could make those type of records. And if you listen to the beats, Eminem as a producer is one of the worst producers I've ever heard in my life. He makes the same sound beat all the time. And I'm like, dude, I understand you have a white fan base, but you cannot make these type of beats and throw just any old type of black dudes on them. You got the wrong kind of guys. Slaughterhouse don't rap to these beats. Now the Slaughterhouse mixtape before they got with Shady Records is a lot more devastating than this one. All Eminem beats sound the same. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. I'm like, what is he listening to? I cannot get with those keys and everything. All his beats sound the same. So when he took over production, because he was producing, So he's in Detroit, and he don't want to leave Detroit. So you got to go all the way to Detroit and work with him and Royce. Then you're not allowed to sit with music. So you can't even sit. Once it's submitted, you like sending it in and don't know what's going to happen, how's it going to sound. So you can't even tell nobody about the album or nothing because you don't know if you even going to be on it. And then Joe was hurt because they kept cutting his verse and was letting him know basically you're the weakest guy in the group. And when they cut and they put a Yellow Wolf verse on the song for a Slaughterhouse and they cut out Joe, and he's like, how are you gonna cut me off my group? I am Slaughterhouse. Joe has pride. So when you cut, people don't like, Wu-Tang had these fights all the time. Method Man always got ticked off when he got cut off a song. If you cut Method Man off a song, it's World War III. Like RZA already know, we gonna be in a bad mood, but I gotta make cuts. But he ain't gonna cut the guy completely off the song. They would take Joe completely off the song. They wouldn't just cut bars. They would just cut him completely off the song. The way the RZA would do it, he was basically saying, I was saving Method Man because Meth, if you let him rap for a while, RZA just says, you know, it just sounds like a bunch of nothing when it gets near the end. So if I cut it here, I'm saving him. I'm leaving it right where it's ill. And then I had somebody else come in there with some sick lines. I can edit this thing and doctor it to where it sounds like perfection. But Eminem is just cutting people off the song just because they feel like we're just gonna take the best verses. I mean, Joe is trying to brush it off as like it's nothing. Like, oh, they just wanted to take the best verses. It's nothing. They just wanted the best verses. Like, they can have it. I don't mind. I'm like, all right. If you say so. You see? They try to fool a lot of different people where Joe has been fooling people for years. Trying to act like things don't bother him. How many times for years, every time an Eminem thing comes up, I'm not concerned. I don't care. And he turns around and now you see today, all this time, he really did care. So you know, not believe Joe completely. Joe harbors a lot of things and bury it deep. He was hurt by all of this, but he didn't communicate it with even his group. So when he decided, okay, he did walk away and did admit that, yeah, I did leave. Mentally, he was out of the picture. He had shut down. He couldn't get no response back from Eminem. He couldn't get anything going on, so he just shut down. Then he made the Slaughterhouse song, kissing Eminem's butt when it was supposed to be a diss record. He's like, I was going to start it off like a diss record. But you end up making a song, kissing his butt, trying to get back to his good graces. And people was like, okay, well, now you're doing the right things, Joe. Now, Bizarre, you know, Bizarre in that situation, Bizarre from D12 is back in Eminem's good graces. Him and Mr. Porter. Everybody else is basically out the picture. The Canava and Swifty, they're on the sidelines. Mr. Porter always has a job because he's always doing production. So the con artist is always in effect. But he even left at one point. because things weren't going right. But D12 is not Slaughterhouse. And look what happened with them. There's no guidance, there's no management there in place. And the same thing's gonna happen to Yellow Wolf. Yellow Wolf got, I don't know how about 3 albums out before Slaughterhouse did. Why is that? Because, as Joe figured out when he got there, they were a pet project. They were the muse for Eminem. And I told people that from the beginning. I told you Eminem needed to be around some MCs that could rhyme, that could rap, that was spitting to make him go in the booth and write some fire. He needed to be around that again. He couldn't be around D12 and doing all that jokey stuff no more. He wanted to be around guys who was hungry. The way he used to function. Yellow Wolf sucks. Yellow Wolf can rhyme. It's just that it's not for everybody. His beat selection is not for everybody. And I don't think that's his choice of beats. But now he's kind of getting ignored by Shady Records. He got an album coming out and nobody's talking about it. No. Joe, like myself, don't understand why they gotta beg for certain things. Like, they should have been opening up for Eminem on tour, period. Why not? Because their job was to make Eminem look good and give him that image again. Have Eminem stand there as Slaughterhouse was his group. That's what they wanted. Hold on. What's up, Nicole X? Oh yeah, click the link in the description box. Make a donation. Y'all already know that. I'm gonna check all the donations as soon as I get in the house. Ooh, bless me. I don't know how 50 Cent gonna perform in this weather. I would never agree to no outdoor festival type stuff. But I know the check made him say, I will be in Chicago. With bells on. So at this point, they shut down. Eminem had a meeting with Joe Budden. Joe Budden didn't express any of this stuff to Eminem. Eminem came in and met them, I believe, they were in California. I think they had a show they were going to do or whatever it was getting close. This is before they did whatever, some type of thing that they were finna perform on, opening up in London or whatever it was. And they were talking about who was happy, who wasn't happy. And people were voicing like what's the direction. And he never communicated this with him. He never sat down and had a conversation with Eminem about it. Joe said he was very unclear on a lot of things, but he never even voiced it with the original three. Now, Joell did not fly out. They wanted Joell Ortiz to come to Detroit, and the label didn't even pay for it. They wanted Joell Ortiz to spend his own money and fly all the way to Detroit. So he felt the same ways that Joe felt. But he was loyal and honoring the contract because he figured, look, let's just bang out 3 albums and we done. Well, if they don't come out or they do come out, we completed the 3 albums of the contract. You know, so we done. So Joe is kind of, I don't know if he's still signed some type of way or he's still linked in the deal somehow. Whoa. Joell never talked. No, Joell's not the type that's finna talk about all that in the press. Joell's just loyal. You know what I'm saying? He's loyal soil. So that's just him. Joell is like, look, this is what we agreed to, and he believed, like, man, it's gonna pop, it's gonna happen. You know, we got Eminem, let's not rock the boat. But Joe is mentally, you know, not there. See Joe's attitude. He ain't listening to him, and Joe's a problem. You know, everybody write Joe's off as a problem. And the thing is, because Joe doesn't know how to communicate. If Joe knew how to communicate things over to people, these things would not be problems. You would not have these problems. Joe Budden, if he knew how to communicate, we would not have all these different issues with Joe Budden. Nobody would have to sit there and say, man, I wonder how Joe feel about this. I wonder how Joe, he's just a moody person. That's why he says he had mood music, because he was very moody. So it's like, oh, well, Joe's energy's not feeling it. He's upset because they cut him off a record. And he was mad when they came out with the Bad Meets Evil. And he was right about it. He was right. See, that's what a lot of people don't understand. Oh, God, they've just totally ruined this place. Now they made a Sprint store in here, too. It's all going down here. It's all going down. We ain't gonna have a video store soon. Y'all around with me? I'm doing my drops. No, I'm at the video store. I made the first stop to go pick up the package, which was the movie. Then I had to go drop it off here at the video store. So, the package is dropped off. Sorry to take the excitement from you guys. But anyway, Joe Budden, as I stated before, Joe is very personable when it comes to these things, but I agree. Once the Bad Meets Evil album came out with Eminem and Royce, I would have felt a certain way too. What does that say for us as Slaughterhouse when you're coming out with these secret albums? I mean, were they not supposed to feel a certain way? That's what I'm sitting here saying to myself. Were they not supposed to feel a certain way when something like that happened? No, everybody wanted that album because it was supposed to come out many years ago before Eminem blew up, really. They had the big fallout with Royce and D12 and Shady Records. But Bad Meets Evil was the album Eminem and Royce always talked about making. And they had the song Bad Meets Evil back in his old freestyle days before he got signed. It's not that. No, don't do that. It's not that M don't care about nobody but Eminem. That's not true. That would be lying. Now that'll be a lie. Eminem does care. He just doesn't know what he's doing. When it comes to promoting and helping the guy, he don't know what he's doing. And rather than saying, I don't know what I'm doing right here. I don't know how to market you. I don't know how to promote you. I don't know how to run my own company, Shady Records. I have no clue. I have no structure in place, but I just try to make you guys like me. I don't know how to let you guys grow. And if anybody, these guys got direction and ideas, they don't really take them and enhance them and say, okay, well, he's got an idea what he wants to do. They have a system of how they do it. They want to keep it in-house and keep the idea to themselves or the project or direction or where they want to go, and they'll mold it how they want it to go. And if you feel like as an artist, hey, my views was going to actually be taken seriously, and then you find out it's not, you might feel a certain way. So the whole Slaughterhouse thing is basically, it was null and void at the point. They could have got anybody. Like Joe said, they could have kept Slaughterhouse going, but they wasn't really making any money off Slaughterhouse. All they were doing was, at that point, was being a good look for Eminem. Eminem got a gang of black buddies around him now. So now Shady's reloaded with all this new talent. And where are they going? Eminem just put out an album. Where was Boogie? Boogie is dope. Where's Boogie on this album? You know, it's easy to find somebody who can rap. But if you can't promote them or don't have any idea of how to market them to the public, what good are you to them? Yeah, he always does. Now, when the cameras are rolling, he has a bunch of them around. There was a song. It never came out. You never heard it. That's what I'm saying. There was a song. Yellow Wolf had a verse on a song that featured Joe Budden. It never came out. Okay? But when they had the finished project of the song, Yellow Wolf was on there. Joe's verse was off. Wherever they was going to do with the song. It had like Royce on there. It had a lot of members who got cut off, but Joe was a noticeable person that was cut off, and Yellow Wolf verse was on there. And Joe was originally on this song. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? Is Joe wasn't originally on a song. That song got changed. It's like somebody else's verse. Joe's verse isn't on it. He's not even on the song anymore. And it was numerous songs where Joe was cut off, completely off the songs. A lot of other people verses, but noticeably Joe was the most cut off of anybody in the group. You would feel a certain way. That would make me feel like they're telling me I'm the weakest member of the group. So imagine how Joe feels at that point. Eminem is still rapping because he's in debt. Eminem is rich, but Eminem is rich, but he's not rich. You know what I'm saying? He's blew through a lot of money. He wasn't working. He had to get back out there and get on the grind and start back working and doing little shows to get. Don't want to go on tour. You see, Eminem couldn't go on tour. He doesn't like to tour. He hates touring. He hates the process of touring. But if he ever toured, Eminem would make a fortune if he went out there and toured. I'm parked. So yeah, I'm good. Thank you. I will be careful driving. I know they made an agreement. Other people was out there and they got cut. So Joe might not tell you these things happened and this is what really made him go tick, boom. But that was the biggest thing of that. That was crushing his heart more than anything. Even though he said he was willing to swallow his pride because a lot of other people got their verses cut too. But he noticed that his verses was cut the most. Then he's starting to see things that he didn't like. Like the Royce album, Bad Meets Evil. That didn't make sense. You got a Slaughterhouse and Bad Meets Evil with Royce and Eminem. Like what is this? And the album was terrible. The album was terrible. It was trash. The beats were trash. The songs were trash. It was like maybe one song on that album that was worth the damn. Joe's only thing he did wrong. The only thing that Joe did wrong. And I will state it right here. This is what Joe Budden did wrong. Joe did not communicate any of this with the rest of the band members. Joe should have communicated everything over better with them so that everybody would have a better understanding of what was going on. Joel felt this way, especially when they're trying to make them pay out of pocket to fly back and forth when the company should have been paying it to go back to Detroit and flying back to New York, flying to LA, flying to New York or Jersey back to Detroit to get stuff done because Eminem don't want to come out. We got to come to him. We got to come to him. Eminem has financial advisors, but Eminem has a lot of bills. You know what I'm saying? They got rich people bills. He has a high maintenance on he has a mansion in Detroit that needs maintenance. So Eminem had to come back. Eminem used to make like $12-20 million a year. People like, he didn't even put out an album. Then they started working out deals, putting Eminem on soundtracks. He's getting $1 million here and there on soundtracks. I mean, Joell ain't the type that's gonna come out and be making no stuff. Joell is just loyal. That's everything about him. Kamikaze, you said already went platinum. Of course it goes platinum. It was already at 300 something, whatever. They gonna push everything platinum. It's Eminem, man. Eminem is a person that didn't finish high school, dog. He's not dumb. People are gonna make sure Eminem don't go broke. People are highly vested in Eminem being rich forever. They're not gonna have Eminem being broke, walking around with no money. Well, that's very hard to do. Is let everybody else or somebody else having the success that Eminem had. That's very hard to accomplish. And I left my jacket. I'll go get it another day. I'm quite sure I grabbed everything, but I damn sure left my jacket. I don't think I have anything in it. Yep, so they broke up. They disbanded. Joe was out, and the group was basically, they knew the album wasn't coming out. They wasn't really moving with the project no more. And it was time for people to just do their own things. I haven't seen the Power spoiler. But from what I've been told, it was basically everything that I predicted. And I don't know who keeps sabotaging it. That's just ridiculous. But anyhow, it's your man Carcino. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification button. I'm up out of here. I'll holler at y'all later. I gotta go kick it.